Hello, guys, and welcome to Switch to Play, and welcome to our fifth episode of our Barclays Premier League review. And today we're two teams. We're going to focus on our Manchester City and Manchester United. Before we do that, I have to introduce two people, and they've been on every preview part before, and they're going to be on here again. It's Michael.
Hello.
And Thomas.
Hello.
We'll go to Manchester and start with Manchester City, and for this being a big transfer in the summer, Raheem Sterling from Liverpool to Manchester City for £49 million.
Yeah, it was an expensive transfer, and I think Liverpool fans were really happy with it, because obviously they got a lot of money from a player that fans sort of felt was disrespecting the club in a way. But I think the Man City fans will be equally happy. You know, they've got a player that strengthens their team, and I think they're one step closer to. I feel like they rely on Sergio Aguero a bit too much, and a player like Sterling is kind of one step closer to having like a team that does actually, you know, they don't have to rely on one player all the time to get them points.
Yeah, that was a problem for Manchester City last season. They kept trying to rely on Aguero, but Aguero has had a lot of injury problems in the past. I don't think he's had a full season without any injuries in a few. So that would be still a main concern, because back strikers at the moment, Bonnie and Dzeko, Jovetic went to Inter Milan last week. So they're a bit low on that front, but I think you can play Sterling in that false nine role. So Pellegrini does have options there. But apart from that, they haven't really invested on the first team. You could say about Fabian Delph going from Villa to them, that is back up for Fernandinho and Fernando. And to be honest, I think Delph is much better than Fernando. It cost Manchester City a shit ton of money, but he really didn't perform well at all last season.
I think that so far in the transfer market they've done quite well. Obviously, people were criticising them for buying non-English players. Now, as far as the starting 11 goes, they've still only got Hart and Sterling in there, who are English, but they have bought 3 more English players, which will help them this season. And I just think that they've proved a lot of people wrong in going out and buying that young English talent. But I just hope they don't go and ruin Delph and Robert's careers by just not playing them at all, if you get what I mean.
Oh no, it's just I don't think, you know, they've signed Delph purely for the fact that he's English, you know, and he's breaking into the national team. You know, he's not the worst English player to sign, but as far as it goes, he doesn't improve the team massively. I don't think he's going to be someone that is going to help them get a top 4 or even higher spot. He's there to make up the English numbers, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be. I think Man City won't do as well this season. Just because I think their defence, especially with Company and Mangala, Shalas, with the loss of Savic and Nastasic, that it was. I know this was a season ago and in January, but they've lost a good bulk of their defence. And they looked against Stuttgart in the pre-season friendly. I know pre-season is, you can't tell much into it, but them at the back, they look so shaky. Korov was awful, and Sanya was pretty dire too. So they've got problems in defence, and that really did let them down, especially in the big games. Remember, they lost to Manchester United at Old Trafford, and their defence was shocking. You can't play Toure for Toure and someone else in a 2 in midfield, because you'll just get absolute outworked rate, and just the opposition will dominate you in the centre of the park, because Toure doesn't have the work ethic. He's got the ability, no question about it, but his work ethic, his work rate is diabolical.
Yeah, I think Toure last season, he didn't have the best of seasons of like what people were expecting of him. But this year, he's like, what is he, like 31, 32 now? He's getting on a bit, so I don't know. I think this is like his make or break season. Either he has a really good season, or he doesn't do very well, and then he'll end up getting sold, I reckon, at the end of this season if he can't obviously get Man City into a good position.
No, he's a terrific player, no doubt about it. But now let's go on to our predictions. Michael, you're first. Well, now on to predictions. Michael, we'll start off with you.
Yeah, I've got Man City fourth purely because I think they're behind Arsenal, Man United and Chelsea in terms of quality. I just think that I don't think Pellegrini is that good of a manager, and I think if Aguero gets injured, they could find themselves in some serious trouble like we saw last season when he got an injury.
Tom?
I put Man City at fourth as well, just because of the same reasons really. I don't think I think the other clubs, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, they've got better teams, better rounded, and I think the defence in Man City is just going to let them down too much.
How about Colin? What did he put? He's still on holiday, by the way.
Colm actually put Man City fifth, behind Liverpool in the Champions League spot.
Oh, interessant. Very interesting. So,
I don't
What
know.
did you have, Josh?
I also went for fourth. I think Manchester United is going to improve, or they're definitely improving. We'll come on to them next, but yeah, Manchester City, I think fourth will be. They get Champions League football, and I think that's the minimum. But I think Pellegrini will lose his job at the end of the season.
Right,
Yeah.
so shall we put them fourth then?
Yeah, I think fourth. Obviously, Colm thinks Liverpool are going to finish top four, but I doubt it.
I'm surprised about that.
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't diluted, but he's been listening to you, Tom, too much.
Oh yeah, so we'll put Man City fourth in our Premier League table.
Well, now we're moving on to our second club of the Part 5 Premier League preview. And we, sorry about that, we've got Manchester United, the other side of Manchester at Old Trafford, but they've been extremely busy in the summer transfer window already. I still feel they're lacking a couple of players, but they've, Darmian, Depay, Schweinsteiger, Romero and Schneiderlin.
Yeah, well, I think they're all good signings really. Darmian, Depay, Schweinsteiger can all go straight into the first team and help them become a club that are, battling for top 3, maybe even top 2. We'll see as it goes along, but I think and they're also getting Schneiderlin, who's brilliant for Southampton. I'd say one of the best defensive midfield players in the league. So there's just talks about maybe they've got too many midfielders and some of them are inevitably going to lose out on the game time they need.
Yeah, I think they still need a striker because they don't really have backup for Rooney. They can play Depay in the false 9 position, but I think before this transfer went, I think Louis van Gaal would love a striker and probably another centre back because Chris Smalling is absolutely shit, isn't
he? Yeah. Well.
Yeah, at least we agree with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most people would agree with that.
If you rate Chris Smalling, I don't know what you're watching. You must be one of the worst. If you think Chris Smalling's good, please don't watch this podcast.
No.
Because you're deluded. But this will be key if they can keep De Gea, which it seems like that they will.
Yeah, we spoke about it in one of our earlier podcasts, and I think it seems as though he's going to stay for another season, and clubs are going to try and snap him up on a free next season. Real Madrid seem the front runners for that, and I don't see why De Gea would sign another contract sometime this season. But they're obviously kind of preparing for his when he leaves by getting Sergio Romero from Sampdoria. So
Yeah, he's Romero's a very good backup keeper, but with his kind of stats, you'd think that he might be number one. But obviously, if De Gea does stay, then I'm sure Romero will be number two. But yeah, Romero's a strange one. Sometimes he's a typical South American keeper. Really, he sometimes pulls off some wonderful saves, but then he lets in a couple of howlers.
yeah, well,
So, but I think the main interesting point, if I look at Manchester United as a whole, is the midfield at the moment, or midfield really, how Louis van Gaal's going to shape it up, and which formations he's going to play. Because the purchase of Darmian suggests that he could go three at the back again, but in pre-season he's been sticking to four at the back. So currently it looks like it's going to be a 4-3-3. But with the flexibility of Louis van Gaal, could easily change that three at the back with Darmian and short wing backs. So it's intriguing, really.
I think he really does need to get a centre-back in before the end of the transfer window, though. I expect him to, but he hasn't really assessed the main problem of last season, that was the defence, and he's gone and signed the two midfielders.
No, they got Darmian in.
Yeah, but, in terms of centre-backs, he just hasn't really... Because you can't go through a season with Chris Smalling, Johnny Evans, Phil Jones and Rojo. You need a world-class centre-back. So if he can get in something like Otamendi, Sergio Ramos was mentioned earlier in the transfer window, then I can see them pushing for the league title, but at the moment they're going to just finish in the top four again.
But we have to remember, they didn't have a right back all season, basically. Rafael was out of favour.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
And Valencia's not a right back at all. His defensive duties are poor, I think. He's good attacking, but going back, he's very poor. So Darmian's a great addition to that, and it'll make that defence much more solid. And they got a terrific goalkeeper behind them in De Gea. Yes, their defence wasn't brilliant last season, but they still came fourth. And yes, De Gea was one of the players of the season, and he did get player of the season for Manchester United, but you got to have a good goalkeeper in any title push. So you can't really complain in that sense. But let's go on to our predictions now. I'm going to start first, actually, just to change things up. I've got them down as runners-up. I think they'll really push Chelsea for the league, and I think Arsenal will be very close to Manchester United. I think it's going to be a really good season.
yeah. Well,
Tom, what, do you agree with my second, or you've got them low down?
well, I was kind of thinking they weren't going to be able to. I don't know. I think in some ways I feel like Van Gaal isn't the right man for the job at times, but I've got them. I would put them third, obviously in our table. We've got Arsenal third already, but I'm not sure if I can see them pushing for the title as much as Chelsea. I think Chelsea are by far a better team, to be honest. We'll have to see how it pans out with the new signings and that, but I think at the moment, to me, Chelsea's just seem like a much stronger team, better all round as well, So, but I don't think they're gonna go fourth. I think they're gonna be higher up than that. So I'd say second seems like the most likely position in our table.
What do you think, Michael?
I agree with you on this one, Josh. I think they will finish runners
As everyone does.
behind Chelsea. I think I don't know. I think Arsenal could easily get second, but if they bring in a centre back and a quality striker, then they're going to be a lot better than Arsenal this season. And I think Van Gaal's a really good manager.
Yeah, Van Gaal's definitely the right man for a job at the moment. What did Colm have? I presume he's not good. Put second in.
He put third as well, behind Arsenal. But
Interesting.
I think second is the only place we can really put him in our table.
Yeah, because then first is Chelsea, Man City's fourth, Arsenal's third,
and they're never going to be as low down as.
And Liverpool are not good.
So
we're going to put Manchester United second in our Barclays Premier League prediction table. Now Michael is going to tell you who to put in your fancy football teams. Michael, go ahead.
Yes, so for Man City, we have got so for Man City, we have got Raheem Sterling. You can pick him up for £9 million. He's owned by 18% of players at the moment. Last season, got 7 goals and 10 assists. He's quite an expensive option, but he is one of the better Manchester City midfielders their new signing, of course. We also think you should get David Silva for £10 million. He's owned by 13% of players and got 12 goals and 12 assists last season. And for Man United,
Yeah.
I think and for Man United, we think you should get Wayne Rooney. He's worth 10.5 million. 32% of players own him. He's got 12 goals and 5 assists last season. And we also think you should get Juan Mata for 8.5 million. He's selected by 6.5% of people. He got 9 goals and 4 assists last season.
Thank you, Michael. And that was part 5 of our Barclays Premier League preview. So bye from Tom.
Goodbye.
Bye from Michael.
Bye.
Before we go, I'm going to do some admin. Follow us on Twitter at SwitchToPlayYT. Follow us on Twitch TV at SwitchToPlay Podcast. We not at. Oh, for fuck's sake. Follow us on. Follow us on Twitch TV, SwitchToPlay Podcast, and we will be streaming hopefully in the near future. So be sure to follow us on there. Thank you guys for listening, and goodbye.